Hey heathens, it's Gundidi, and this week we got something cool for you. This week we are doing another concealed carry pistol. It is a pistol that I've been having my eyes on for a little bit, and I drank a little too much bourbon, placed a bid on Gunbroker, and surprisingly, I won it. So this week, if you guys have been following me on social media, you guys would have already seen this, but if not, this week we are doing the Kel-Tec P15. It's a neat little offering from Kel-Tec. It is their entrance into the micro compact guns. Granted, they were the first ones to go into those micro 9s with P11. That was a micro 9 double stack long before the P365 ever existed. But this is their first striker fired version of those micro guns. And this is a really neat pistol. So let's go over the specs from nose to rear, and then we'll get out to the range and put some rounds on it, see what it does. All right guys, it is hot as all hell out here today. I mean, Satan feels like he is farting on me today. It is ridiculously hot. So I went to Gundidi.com and bought me a brand new moisture wickening shirt, because out here in the Arizona heat, that sun beating down on you is ridiculous. So if you guys want to get one for yourself, go check out Gundidi.com. Get yourself some moisture wickening shirts. We have them in all kinds of different colors, and they are a hoot to have. But yet again, this is not a sponsored video, and this is not an advertisement for anyone else but myself. So YouTube, stay out of it. All right, guys, let's look at this guy up close and personal. We're going to start by, of course, it's got a nice hard case. We're going to open this guy up. We got the pistol, extra magazine, looks like an extended grip safety. So when you're running that extended back strap, you have that available. And of course, child safety lock, Kel-Tec sticker, and the user manual. Let's go ahead and get these out of the way. Okay, now we're gonna go from nose to rear on the Kel-Tec P15. Starting at the nose, we have a 4-inch barrel. So it's a much longer barrel than most of your concealed carry pistols, but it is still a very small package. We got a nice front sight fiber optic front post here. So it glows in the day and at night. So it's a very nice optics setup there for your sights. We got some slide serrations on the front. They're not the most aggressive. They're actually kind of smooth. So if your hands are sweaty, there's a good chance you're not racking this very easily. Moving on down, we have a single slot Picatinny rail. So you can put your lights, lasers, maybe small grenade launchers, things like that on there. Got a very large trigger guard. This trigger guard is massive. There's not a whole lot of space up here for a gloved hand. So I'm not sure why they went so large with this trigger guard, but it does have a massive trigger guard. Working our way back up on top, you got some more slide serrations here. These are made out of polymer and much more aggressive, so they're much easier to grip onto and rack that slide. It looks like it should be optics cut. I have been told that there are optics plates available, like optics rear ends for this, but so far I cannot find it on Kel-Tec's website. So if they do offer it, it's not available at this time. We have night sight, rear sight, so they'll glow up really nice in the night. Let's see what it looks like when you're looking down the sight picture. Pretty nice little sight picture there. Very nice little setup there. Working our way down, we have a grip safety. I know what you guys think. Grip safeties are terrible. I'm not a fan of grip safeties, but if you're used to shooting 1911s or the Springfield XDs, the grip safety is not a bad deal. Plus, with a pistol this small, you're not going to want to get a bad grip. It's just going to flip that thing right out of your hand. So getting a good grip, as long as you have that in there, it knocks down that grip safety. Plus, it allows it to where they don't need the trigger dingus there. So it's just got a very long trigger. We'll go over that here in just a second. Moving on down, you have the standard Kel-Tec grenade pattern grip texture, but this grip texture is much more aggressive than most of the Kel-Tec grip textures in the past. So something to point out. It's a very skinny grip, very, very skinny grip. So It makes it to where one-handed, you pretty much wrap your entire hand around that gun very easily. With the standard magazine, I am dangling a pinky on this guy, but the standard magazine is a 12-round magazine, while the extended mag is a 15. And the 15 makes it a little longer, but it still gives you that nice firm grip, and it's still pretty small to conceal carry. It's got some, I guess you call them slides, or some serrations on the front and back strap. They are not aggressive at all. They really aren't doing anything. It's really these side panels that are doing much for you, which kind of sucks. I wish they would have taken this grip texture and moved it to the front and the rear of the gun. It would have been really nice. The magazine release. It does look like it is ambidextrous, but I will say it is a very stiff magazine release, and it does take a little getting used to because it's kind of flush fit with the whole slide, or with the whole grip panel, but it is very difficult to hit that while keeping your grip. Just letting you guys know that. Like I said, they had that huge trigger guard on there. I think if they would have shortened this trigger guard, they probably could have made it to where you can get 3 fingers on there. I think you could have got away with a much smaller trigger guard on this guy. But let's go ahead and check out that trigger real quick. Now, this is empty, completely empty. No rounds in the magazine. This does have a magazine disconnect. Now, I'm not going to disengage it yet, but there is a switch in here to disengage the magazine disconnect, which will be something I do in the future. I just want to get the first shots on this guy before we actually release that. So let's go ahead and throw this mag in so you can see the trigger. It's kind of a long, you get to a little take up to get to what seems like a wall, and then it's kind of a mushy feel till there's a break. Let's see that reset. Kind of long, not very tactile, very audible, but not very tactile. Let's go ahead and bring that back. That does take you right to that like false wall. Then you got to go through that sponginess till it breaks again. It's not a terrible trigger, but it's definitely no Canik MC9 or even the Springfield Hellcat or anything like that. It's kind of a heavy version of a SIG 365 trigger, if you would ask me. But it's not a bad little pistol. Very small framed, and you know, let's go ahead and get some rounds on it and see what you guys think then. All right, guys, I'm back with a few rounds in the magazines. I started with the 12-round magazine because that's more likely how you're going to carry this pistol. Is going to be carrying it with the smallest footprint possible. So 12-round magazine. Like I said, pinky dangles. They probably could have shortened this trigger guard a little bit, and maybe the trigger, and gave you a little bit extra room for a third finger on there, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. We went with a small pistol, so it is what it is. Next, I'm going to try it with the 15 rounder because that's probably how you're going to shoot it at the range, and probably what you're going to use as your backup magazine. But let's go ahead and put some rounds on this guy, see how she feels, and I'll let you guys know my first shot's opinion real quick. Okay, so she's awfully snappy. I mean, this is a very aggressive little pistol. It doesn't weigh anything at all. Unloaded, this thing weighs 16.9 ounces, I believe it was. I'll annotate it on the screen if I'm wrong, but 16.9 ounces, which makes it by far the lightest concealed carry pistol out there without going into a small caliber pistol. So, it's lightest caliber, or lightest 9mm pistol out there. So it is very aggressive, especially since I can't get a full grip on this guy. So it is kind of punching me right here in the palm of my hand. But let's go ahead and shoot a couple rounds one-handed up close so you guys can see what that recoil looks like. We're going to go one-handed. Oh, well, that is a very, very bizarre thing to happen. I don't know if you could see that. Let's see if you guys can see that in the light here. We're going to get you into the light here because you guys need to see that. We have the rounds nosedived in the magazine. What in the world? How does that happen? That is bizarre. Definitely something to show you. These are Mekgar mags, so they're not bad magazines. But that is a very odd thing that it went and nosedived like that. Let's go ahead and put a couple more rounds in there. And as you guys saw, there was an inertia slide release. I dropped that mag back in and the slide rode home right away. So that is something to point out as well. It can be inertia driven. All right, let's go ahead and get these last couple rounds out. I'll let you know if I have any other failures that pop up. This gun is kind of hard to hold on to with this small little mag. Because you're dangling that pinky, a lot of pressure is going on your index finger to kind of keep everything stabilized. Kind of slapping my finger a little bit. But let's go ahead and put the full-size mag in, because this is probably how most of you guys are going to shoot this guy. But let's see if we can inertia driven this one again. Oh yeah, that's so easy. This guy is meant to be inertia driven. I kind of like it. Some of you may not, but I kind of like it. Let's go ahead and put a couple rounds with the full-size magazine and see how she feels. Woo! Okay, so she is aggressive on the recoil all the way around. Even with the mag, the extended mag in there, and I could get a better grip, it is very aggressive, very snappy. And I'm not the most accurate with it. Could be just me. Looks like the sights might have drifted. It kind of looks like the sights might have went a little to the right, but I can't really tell. We'll have to check it out in a little bit after we put a few more rounds through it. But interesting points to point out. The mag did fail on the loading of the gun, which was very bizarre. The whole round dove into the rest of the mag. That's very bizarre. And like I said, Mekgar makes these mags, so there shouldn't be a failure like that. But let's go ahead and put a few more rounds in it, and then there's something I heard about this pistol that caught my attention. So one thing that I was told is, yes, Mekgar makes these magazines. Mekgar also made the original P11 magazines, and the P11 mags will fit in this guy. Granted, I don't have a P11 mag to put in this guy. But what I did hear is the old Smith & Wesson 59 series mags will work in this guy. So let's go ahead and get a couple 59 series mags and see how she does. What I have today is I have an original 5906 15 round magazine. So we're gonna go ahead and try this guy out first, and then I have a different mag that may or may not work as well. So let's go ahead and try the 5906. She does go in, and she is locked in. Let's go ahead and if it'll feed that first round. Fed the first round just fine. So far, working just fine. Let's go ahead and pop off these rounds. I only put 10 rounds in, so we'll see how she does. And so I don't think it's a magazine issue, because it did the exact same thing with the 5906 mags. And I know 5906 mags are extremely reliable, so I don't think it's a magazine issue. I think I'm having a failure to feed, and what it's doing is it's just nosediving the round back into the mag, which is very odd. But let's go ahead and keep pumping these rounds out and see if we have any more failures. All right, so she fed all rounds just fine. Not a problem with the original 5906 mags. So, if it works on the originals, will it work on the clones? Now, this is a Mekgar magazine for the 5906. This is a 17 round magazine. The funny thing is, dimensionally, it's the exact same as the original 15 round magazine. The only thing I see that's different is if you put them butt to butt, those feed lips are just a hair higher on the Mekgar. Not a lot, but a hair higher, and it might be enough to not actually work in this guy. So let's go ahead and see if we will get it to seat. It does not seat. It won't lock in at all. So yeah, those feed lips are an issue. So let's go ahead and try to hold this mag in and see if it'll feed the rounds. No, it's not getting even high enough to feed the rounds. Let's check this out. Yeah, so it does work with 5906 original mags, but the Mekgar clone mags, or the Mekgar aftermarket mags, the dimensions on the mag must be just slightly different, just enough to where it doesn't actually work on the Kel-Tec. So, interesting note to point out. All right, so we checked out how it felt under recoil. We saw that it takes 5906 mags. But this is a carry pistol. This is an EDC pistol. So how does it compare to my EDC pistol? So we have the Kel-Tec P15 and my Shield Plus. This is my daily carry. This is what I carry every single day. And if you put them side by side, with the extended mag in on both of them, they're roughly the same size. I mean, the Kel-Tec's a little longer in the barrel and maybe a hair shorter in the slide. A hair. But other than that, they're virtually the same. Now, this is holding 15 rounds and this one's holding 13 rounds. So, how does it compare? I love my Shield Plus, but it is snappy and aggressive on the recoil. So far, this guy is snappy and aggressive on the recoil. So let's go ahead and put a couple rounds on target and see how she performs. Let's go ahead and get my Shield Plus. Okay, so quick response. I feel like the Kel-Tec is a little bit more aggressive than the Shield Plus. But let's go ahead and shoot them one-handed and see how she does. So first shots with the Smith & Wesson. Okay. Next shots with the Kel-Tec. Okay, yeah, so in my quick opinion, I'm going to say the Shield Plus feels a little bit more comfortable to shoot. Even though the back is a little bit more pointy than the Kel-Tec, it doesn't seem to snap as bad as the Kel-Tec. That's my quick opinion. But you know what? Yet again, we have a couple guns to akimbo, so let's go ahead and finish these last rounds off. Really nice guns. I like both of them so far, but I don't think the Kel-Tec's gonna take out the Shield Plus as my carry gun yet. We're gonna go ahead and put a few more rounds on this guy and see if we have any more issues with this guy. All right, so the Kel-Tec with its flush mag holds 12 rounds of 9mm. Like I said, it's a little bit small in the grip because your pinky dangles. They could have made it a little longer in the grip by shortening up that trigger guard, I think. So a gun that I know is also 12 rounds and I could get a full grip on it is the Taurus Millennium series or the Taurus G2 series. This is a 12 round magazine. This is a 12 round magazine. Let's put them side by side. And really all it is a pinky extension difference. That's it. Other than that, they are virtually identical, even in the width. They're very similar in the width. They're very similar all the way around each other. And this is my old Taurus Millennium series. If you guys have been on the channel for a long time, you'll know that I've shot the living snot out of this guy and I've never had a hiccup with it. So let's go ahead and see how recoil feels compared to the Taurus G2 series. So let's go ahead and put a couple rounds on target, starting with the Kel-Tec. This is with the 12 round magazine, so pinky is dangling. And I can't hit snot. Let's go ahead and get that Taurus Millennium G2. This is the original, or not the original, but it is in the first series of the Taurus Millennium series. This is right after the Millennium Pros, so this is just before they introduced the G2C. This is the PT111 G2. So let's go ahead and put a couple of rounds on there. So much more comfortable to shoot the G2 over the Kel-Tec. I will admit, I have not shot this guy in a very long time. I think the last time I shot this was when I did my last video with it, which I think was the Stoeger. Yeah, the Stoeger ST9. That was the last time I shot this guy. And honestly, it's such a breeze to shoot. So let's go ahead and shoot it one-handed so you guys can see the recoil difference. Yeah, so just feeling them back to back, I'm gonna say the Kel-Tec is way more aggressive than the Taurus Millennium series. And the Taurus Millennium series is quite a bit cheaper than the Kel-Tec. So I'm not saying go out and buy a Millennium, but I will say the good thing about the Kel-Tec Millennium series is they're cheap and they have a lifetime warranty. Kel-Tec also has a lifetime warranty. Both companies have an issue with QC. So I feel like this is a fair comparison, comparing the Kel-Tec P15 to the Taurus G2C. Because it's with these guns, it's like a 30% chance you may have a dud and you may have to send it back to the factory. It's probably less than that, but it feels like a 30% chance. With like the Smith & Wesson, it's like a 2 or 3% chance that you may have a dud. It's just a great gun. Let's get the last couple rounds off and see how she does. I'm going to take this out a little bit of range and try to shoot this like plastic barrel that someone left out in the desert. We're going to try to shoot that. It's about, we'll say about 30 yards away. So let's see how she does at distance. Who knows? I have no idea. Let's go ahead and try the Taurus. Yet again, I have no idea. But interesting that comparing these two together, I think I would much rather go with the Taurus than the Kel-Tec, just in physical feel. The cool thing about the Kel-Tec or the Taurus is, especially if you go with the Millennium G2, you could get them used for like 120, 140 bucks. This guy, even on the used market, is still hovering around that 250 mark. So, you know, give or take. All right, guys. So my final first thoughts on the Kel-Tec P15. It is an interesting gun. I think that it has a lot of capability, but unfortunately Kel-Tec doesn't have the aftermarket support just yet to really showcase what this gun can do. If they came out with a optic plate on there and some more modules, or some companies like Mischief Machine or Sharps Brothers come out with some grip modules for this guy, maybe this would be a viable option. But honestly, for the price point that Kel-Tec wants for these guys, and for the other options available out there, I'm not impressed. Just out here shooting at the range today, this is in a controlled environment. I had plenty of time to load my magazines just right. I had plenty of time to manage my shots, and I had two major malfunctions. Two malfunctions that would put me out of the fight temporarily till I could fix them. That's not something you want in a defensive pistol. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to clean this up. We're going to try to polish up this feed ramp a little bit and see if we can't make this a more reliable pistol. But as it sits right now, I would not rely on the Kel-Tec P15 for a daily carry pistol. If I can make it a very reliable pistol and it functions flawlessly for me down the road, with the option of running 5906 mags, I do like this as an option for carry. I do wish the Kel-Tec would drop a few more aftermarket support for it. Hopefully that's in the near future. But this gun's been out for 2 years yet so far, and No, nothing yet from Kel-Tec. So I don't see it happening anytime soon. Unfortunately, Kel-Tec has the inability to keep up with their customers. It sucks, but it is what it is. This is my first thoughts opinion on the Kel-Tec P15. It is a neat gun. If you want to add it to your collection, cool. If you want to add it to your EDC, maybe think twice. Guys, check out gundeity.com. If you want to help out the channel, check out the links in the description below, where our Amazon store is located in the description below, along with the links to the website where you can see this video, along with things you can't get on YouTube, and you'll see a lot of other cool things in there that you might want to purchase. Guys, as always, help out the channel, help us grow. Hit like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Share it to your friends who may be thinking about getting the Kel-Tec. Let them know that, you know, maybe it's not the best option. Maybe it is. Let them see this video, see what they think. Guys, as always, I'm Gun Deity, and I will see you heathens for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Oh! And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. You call me a god. You call me a god.